and gentlemen, it is me, Nate the effing Great. Yes, it is me, and it is 2019. Welcome to the first edition of the 2019 Game Changer. We are on the road of being one of the best podcasts of this year. Guarantee it, by the end of the year, nobody is going to forget the Game Changer podcast. So, starting off this year with a bang, bada boom, bada bing. Here we do. I'm doing my thing, and I'm talking about what the hell did I just watch? So, I'm doing a review on the Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events Netflix original. Well, I should say Netflix special. Whatever the hell they want to call it. It's on Netflix. Obviously, guys, they have produced 3 incredible seasons. They have given us great actors, great characters, and really just created something that a lot of people have definitely said is one of the best adaptations from book to film in quite some time here. Now, of course, I gotta build it up just a little bit because the fact is that it went through a lot of different series of fortunate events. Also went through a lot of the novels. I'm going to try and name off the first 2 seasons right now. We started off with the Bad Beginning, then went on to the Reptile Room, the Wide Window, the Miserable Mill, the Austere Academy. I'm hoping I said that right. The Ersatz Elevator, the Vile Village, the Hostile Hospital, and the Carnivorous Carnival. These have been building up to this final season, these last 7 episodes of a series of unfortunate events in which we see the Baudelaires trying to survive and find a place that they can call home, while also combating against the wicked and evil Count Olaf, along with his miscreants, his henchmanlock, or hemlock, whatever they called it. I forgot what exactly the name of it was called. And so far, like I said, it had a lot of positive reviews. Honestly, guys, the first 2 seasons got a huge 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, and for damn good reason. I am going to be very surprised if it gets anything lower than a 95%, in my opinion, because this final season is absolutely insane. So, before I get to say it before the start of the show, I'm going to say this now, guys. There may indeed be spoilers involved with this episode. In fact, I'm going to say that there will be spoilers in this, so if you don't want to hear any spoilers, go watch the final season. If you haven't watched the entire series, what is wrong with you? Go to Netflix, watch it, binge watch it if you have to, and look at the excitement that this has created. We are down to like I said, the final 7 episodes. 3 of these novels have had 2 episodes to them, but the final one, entitled The End, only has 1 episode to it. So, with that being said, let's begin with The Slippery Slope, which was season 3, episode 1 and 2. So during this season, we see the Baudelaires, Violet, and Klaus surviving the fall after the huge, deal in which Count Olaf basically sent them off the cliff and hoped that they perished. But nope, they survived. They're able to find a little bit of shelter and meet up with one of the Quagmire triplets who survived the fire. With his help, they are able to find a way to find out where Sunny is, where Count Olaf is hiding, and are able to get Sunny back. But also, they encounter 2 very devious villains in the form of the man with the beard and no hair, and the woman with hair and no beard. Kind of an interesting way of doing it. And it's basically revealed that these 2 characters helped raise Count Olaf almost like as parental figures, you could say. They kind of are the ones that took him under his wing and basically are helping him convert to be a villainous villain, but they are disappointed with the plans that they had. They said, well, why do you just go for this one fortune when you can have so many fortunes? And it's one of those things where you definitely do see Count Olaf just slowly being stripped of all the evil that he had. You can still notice that he's still quite a bit evil, but just not quite as evil as the two individuals that I mentioned before, and not as much as Esme, I believe her name is, his girlfriend, as well as Carmelita, who makes an appearance in this, and oh my god, I hate this character so much. The actress who plays Carmelita does an excellent job of just creating this quote-unquote adorable, attention-grabbing, just vicious and overly spoiled brat so well. It is one of those things where it made me hate this character every time that she popped up. She does a fantastic job of creating that hatred, and she really does play into a deal where are people in the world that think that they're all that and a bag of chips, and then some. During this whole ordeal, we also see one of the henchmen of Count Olaf's, the man with the hook hands, actually starting to build a bond with Sonny. And it's kind of one of those situations where it does come into play a little later on, which I will talk about when we get into the next episode, where he shows a little bit of compassion. He starts to really kind of care for Sonny, so much to the point that he actually fakes her death to save her. It's one of those things where it just really does show quite a bit of the layers of these characters that they have here. During these two episodes, we also see a lot of the majority of the henchmen that Olaf had. They are finally at the point of just saying, like, you know what, we're done. We're done with this. The two women twins, they're gone. The man woman, I think he called him, he's gone. The bald giant, he's gone. They leave. They're basically thinking, there's got to be something more to life than this. So we're not going to be, evildoers anymore. So that is kind of how this went. This is another really good series of episodes that really does kind of build up more questions than answers. And trust me, guys, there are continually going to be more questions than answers when it comes to these episodes. But that's what makes them so great. That's what makes you want to keep coming back to them and seeing what else happens. During this series, we also see Lemony Snicket's sister, Kit, who is pregnant. She's basically trying to take this sugar bowl and take it to the I think it's the VPD. I'm trying to remember exactly what was the acronym for this, but I do believe, yes, it was the VPD. And when after all this happened, they the Baudelaires escape with one of the Quagmires, and they are again split, but they run into a situation in which the VFD, I'm sorry, it seems the same. And here's another thing that actually they hint at, is that it seems like they almost found the VFD quarters. The problem is that it got burnt down by the man with the beard and the lady with the hair. And then they find out that, hey, there is a meeting place at a place that they call the Safe Place, which again we'll go into it later on down the line. But yeah, it's another really good series of episodes. I really do enjoy it. It's pretty damn good, actually. So it definitely starts off season 3 in a very interesting way, but it also kind of keeps you wondering, well, what else happens here? So it ends with the Baudelaires ending up in the middle of a frozen ocean, and they are slowly taken by a submarine. That is the end of it, which goes into Grim Grotto, in which they meet up with this young submarine captain who is looking for her stepfather, but also doing a mission for the VFD, in which they are they're basically trying to, get the sugar bowl, because when Kit was escaping from the two individuals, the man and the woman, that she lost the sugar bowl. So this is the exact location and where they found the sugar bowl, and in the end, we see them just about to get it, but they also encounter a new danger. Not just Count Olaf, but also they encounter this some kind of fungus that is very poisonous. And there are a lot of deals in which they handle, how do we find the cure to battle against this whole deadly fungus? What can we do about it? How can we basically prevent it from killing us? They basically find that out. During also this entire 2-episode series, Count Olaf, Esme, and Carmelita, they have the girls that the man and the woman kidnapped, with them, and they basically end up finding the Baudelaires. They go to abduct them, but then they find out about the whole fungus deal. They're about to take that. But we also find out during this deal that the man with two hooks is actually the long-lost brother of the captain of the... I think I'm trying to remember what the name of the submarine. I think it was the Queen Peg, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think it's the Queen Peg. And basically we find out that, the man with the two hooks basically turns to be a good guy, and he remains with his sister. And we kind of go from there. Excuse me. And there's not really too much else to say about that. The Baudelaires, they take the submarine, the Queen Peg submarine, and they are able to find this hotel in which a lot of the members of the VFD are going to be showing up. And that would eventually transition into the third series of episodes, that being the Penultimate Peril, which this is indeed, in my opinion, what we call a game changer. So they meet up with Kit Snicket, and she basically tells them to, be on the lookout for members of the VFD, and also be on the lookout for this manager, because there's one that's good, there's one that's evil, but there's another little surprise here. This is one of those surprises I actually do not want to give away, because it's one of those stories that actually does a very interesting job here. It actually does do a very interesting deal where it's like, I wonder how this is going. In the end, they actually meet up with the judge that they met in the first couple episodes, Judge Strauss, who basically is saying that this is all a ploy to bring in Count Olaf, and when they have Count Olaf, they're going to put him on trial. And when they find him guilty, they're going to lock him away forever. And it's one of those things where it's like, wow, this is actually a really good setup to help slowly try to make this turn into a good thing. Now, of course, unfortunately, that is not what this is all about. It is a series called A Series of Unfortunate Events, and that is indeed what happens during this deal. They find a way to capture Count Olaf, and they actually have him put on trial. They have the Baudelaires, testify against him, but then they also find out that Count Olaf actually has some questions that they want answered. And as soon as they ask these questions, Count Olaf does indeed answer them, but he also finds a way to just turn the tide and turn the screws on everybody, because there's so many people there that are there to basically show their support. But as soon as Count Olaf reminds them of these, wicked things that go on, they basically are second guessing everything. They're basically thinking, well, who's kind of the evil one here? Is it Count Olaf, or is it, the Baudelaires? This allows Count Olaf to basically, escape with the Baudelaires, and they leave the hotel that is burning up in flames. I'm not going to reveal too much more than that, because there's a lot of really good plot points, as well as twists and turns throughout this. I did reveal one of the bigger ones, but for those that read the novels and are listening to this, you definitely will be happy to know that they definitely do stay true to those plot points that happen with these novels. They do a fantastic job of that. Alright, and then we go on to the final episode, which is the end. And the end is probably the most emotionally driven, well thought out episode of the entire series. So, the Baudelaires and Count Olaf, they have escaped from the quote unquote justice that they were about to be served. We get a little more backstory with Lemony Snicket, because here's the thing. At the end of the penultimate peril, we see him, basically telling the stories of everything that's gone on up to this point, even to the point where he actually has met the Baudelaires. But then after he meets them one time at the hotel, we see that, he has no other stories beyond that. He knows everything up until the end of Penultimate Peril. During the series, the end, he's just kind of speculating what is probably going on, while we are shown what is going on with the Olaf and the Baudelaires. They end up being a part of this, village in which they usually aren't enticed by technology and enticed by some evil things, because their head guru, I guess you could call it, Ishmael, forbids it. And then we find out that Ishmael is a part of the VFD, basically talking about how he knows Count Olaf, and he can answer every question that they could have, and blah blah blah, everything like that. Count Olaf does find a way to escape from the clutches of the villagers. He tries to do a quote-unquote clever disguise one more time, but then in the end he actually is about to get killed. It's one of those situations where I look at this episode and I see this as Neil Patrick Harris's finest performance. It's one of those episodes that you watch and you really do appreciate everything that he did. You see Count Olaf going from another metamorphosis, from being this evil, dastardly person, to being more human. He's getting more layers in this. You're also kind of understanding his backstory. We get to see that him and Kit have a bit of a past with each other, as well as him and Lemony Snicket. Why he left the VFD, why he hates the VFD. We get to see Lemony Snicket's and Beatrice, who's played by the actress who played Vanessa in Deadpool. Thank you very much. I was very happy to see that. It was awesome. We see that taking place, and it develops the story and basically makes it up to the most incredible of conclusions. It's another fantastic episode and a great way to end the series. I always worry when it comes to a lot of these television series, because they usually go too long, or maybe they're just cut too short because of problems with the cast, or problems with their network, or problems with the productions. Everything here just worked out absolutely great. You can tell that there's some cheesiness to it. Some of the backgrounds are just really weird. Some of the CGI animation is kind of off at points, but that doesn't take away from the story and the characters that are being presented here. Every single person here does a fantastic job. In the end, we see Lemony Snicket talk to one of the Baudelaires, and it's one of the most heartwarming moments ever. It's just a fantastic, fantastic way to end the series. It's just so well done. I will definitely recommend that anybody needs to go watch this final series, this final season, I should say, of Lemony Snicket's Series of Unfortunate Events. Like I said, it's on Netflix. It's out right now. I binged watched it yesterday. I was originally going to take the time to just sleep, and I thought, I'm going to do a couple episodes. But no, everything just drew me back in. Everything just found a way to just say, you know what? We're going to keep watching. We're going to keep watching. Finally, I was at the point where I was like, you know what? It's 7 episodes. It's fine. We're going to watch every single one of them. And it does a fantastic job. Like I said, it ties everything together. Every plot hole that you might think that needed to be addressed is addressed in this final season. Every single, connection that they made, they do in this final season. They answer every question that you have. They make sure that you understand why these things are happening, why these characters have these motivations. Just everything is so well done. Man, it's honestly a fantastic, fantastic season. Final season, 3rd season, Lemony Snicket's. And like I said, I'm going to tell you guys this. When this originally came out in January, almost 2 years ago, I had my reservations. I had my doubts about it because I already saw the original, the Lemony Snicket's where Jim Carrey was Count Olaf. And a lot of people definitely will say that, Jim Carrey's Count Olaf was better. But there's a lot of people who say, well, that Patrick Harris' Count Olaf is better. The thing is that after watching these series of unfortunate events on Netflix and just having that, mind-boggling deal in the back of my head where it's like, this could have been something great had not everything, fell through with the original Lemony Snicket's movie that came out. You can imagine, what could have happened, how Jim Carrey could have played this character. Neil Patrick Harris did an excellent job of just taking that ball that Jim Carrey had, not only knocking out of the park, but running to the outfield and catching it himself. He does a fantastic job of playing Count Olaf, and I am very thankful that I got to see this. This is honestly, in my opinion, his greatest works. If a lot of people remember him, playing Barney from How I Met Your Mother, there are a lot of other people that remember him as the mustache guy from A Million Ways to Die in the West. There's plenty of other roles that he's done, but to me, this is one of those career highlights that he definitely earned. And I will tell you this, it's one of those performances that brought a tear to my eye. I literally was crying during his performance. He did an absolutely fantastic job. It's just really good. You go from, talking about Count Olaf to Lemony Snicket's played by Patrick Warburton. Oh my gosh, Patrick Warburton does a fantastic job of playing Lemony Snicket's. He has the tone. He has the energy. He has everything that you would want with this guy. Yes, it still feels like it's the same, but it's for a good reason. It's not going to be one of those things where he's going to, just burst out into song or he's going to just be outlandishly and just go absolutely crazy. No. He's playing what a narrator should be. A narrator is there to tell the story, to explain certain aspects of the story. Patrick Warburton does an absolutely fantastic job. And of course, it's not really until the end where you actually see him become the character, where as throughout the series, you see him as more the narrator. Like we said, he's just kind of there explaining maybe different words that need definitions, or just explaining certain aspects. Like one of the things that he mentions is, a slippery slope. What goes into determining a slippery slope? Just doing a fantastic job of creating that. Man. I mean, the people who played the Baudelaire kids, oh my gosh. Melina Wiseman, Louis Hines, Presley Smith. All three of these kids do a fantastic job of portraying the Baudelaire kids. They really have emotion in them, but they really don't use that emotion until it's something that really counts, until it's something that really makes them happy, or it's still something that really makes them sad. It just does so much more. Because when you see them, just enduring this pain and enduring this deal, and they're just, it seems like they're emotionless, it's because they're almost numb to these, series of unfortunate events because they've happened. It's just such a fantastic job by these three kids. And this is something I never thought I would see, but Tara Strong, a lot of people might know her voice from so many different cartoons. She does the babbling sound effects for Sunny. It's really cool to see that Tara Strong was a part of this. I'm completely happy about that. It was really good. Lucy Punch, who plays as May Squalor, she does a great job of just being this kind of bubbly, overly done character that still you find a way to just kind of see as like, it's kind of interesting to see that. I love the father and mother duo because they are there to give you that hope that, hey, the Baudelaires are going to find their parents. But in the end, of course, they go to a different family. And it's just one of those things where it's like they did such a fantastic job in the first couple seasons. It's just very interesting to see where they came from. Will Arnett and Kobe Smulders do a fantastic job of doing that. I could list all the actors there, but I'm just going to say this to everybody that put their time, put their effort into this series. Thank you so much. You guys deserve every single bit of success that you get. Just, oh my gosh. So many great characters, so many great things, so many great directors that have put their time and effort into creating one of the best series here. Even if it is about unfortunate events, it's just a really good story that was told. Even now, there are people that have been giving, just huge compliments, saying that it is the best way to end the series. It is a fantastic way to do it. Again, they compliment Neil Patrick Harris's performance as Count Olaf. They praise Patrick Warburton's role as Lemony Snicket. It's just a fantastic, fantastic series. So, final grading for this, I will definitely give this a solid A. I would go as far as an A+. There's just some points where I don't see it as perfect, but it is definitely one of the best series and one of the best ways to start off 2019. It is just absolutely incredible. So, with that being said, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this very spoiler-filled, but also nearing the end, a very less spoiler-free episode of The Game Changer. I definitely hope that you guys enjoy a series of unfortunate events, and let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys are more fans of the Jim Carrey version when it was the movie, or if you enjoy the Neil Patrick Harris version with this TV series. It's just so very well done. And honestly, I find it hard to believe that they could try to top this. It's very hard to see that. So that's going to wrap it up for The Game Changer. You know how to follow me on Twitter. You know how to follow me on Facebook. And keep in touch, you guys. There's going to be a lot more episodes coming out this week. So much going on. But I will talk to you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.